Our enemy is a radical network of terrorists and every government that supports them.
Well, the president spoke those words 10 years ago today. Joining us, former Pentagon spokesperson Torie Clarke. Torie, welcome to Houston's Morning News. Great to have you with us this morning. Torie, are you with us?
I am with you now. Don't you love technology?
I was a little concerned there for a minute. I didn't know if maybe
it was a great intro, and I was there and talking to nobody.
You know what? And that's live media. You know how that is.
I do. I love it.
Now I have to figure out a spin, which brings me right to the book, Lipstick on a Pig. So you wrote this book, Lipstick on a Pig, and we're not necessarily here to talk about the book, but I think it's good because, you know, in the 10 years since the president has made that speech, we have spun the war on terror two different ways. The Republicans, I believe, have spun it as something that was good, has kept us safe. And then there are those on the left that say, you know, it was something we should have never done. What's your opinion?
Wow. And I actually think the evolution of how people feel about it has changed even more than that. I think there are differences within both parties now. 10 years later is a good time to reflect and also look ahead. In some ways, I think we're much better off. I think we're much safer. If you had asked me 9 years ago, could we ever go 10 years without another major attack on the United States? I'd say, probably not, and we have.
Right.
That's a very good thing. In some ways, I don't think we've made much progress. I don't think we've really explained well to the American people that conflicts in the 21st century are going to be very, very different than what we've had for the past 200-plus years. They probably aren't going to have neat beginnings and endings with signing ceremonies on battleships.
Right.
They're going to be against these people who don't have countries or borders or uniforms. It's much, much harder, the kinds of challenges we face today. So I think we've still got a lot of learning to do, if you will.
Torie Clarke joining us here this morning on Houston's Morning News. And Torie, if you would hang on one second, I want to ask you about the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, of course. That starts today in the military, and certainly something you can speak to. Joining us this morning, former Pentagon spokesperson Torie Clarke. Torie, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Let's talk a little bit about Don't Ask, Don't Tell. As of today, it has been repealed, so members of the military that are gay, lesbian can be very open about that. As we talk about the war on terror, we talk about our military. You certainly being entrenched there in the Pentagon have a real clear picture of this. Is this something that you see that was necessary? I'm just not sure as to why we are so focused on people's sexuality when it comes to our military.
Oh, I agree with you on that, but it's been a long-standing issue, and it goes back to when President Clinton first took office, and he tried to allow gays to serve openly in the military, and he got blown back politically very hard. So it's been a contentious political issue for years, but I think if going back to what we were talking about earlier, very unconventional times of the 21st century, you need as many good, smart, talented people as you can find in the military. And their ability to do the job in the military should be foremost, not whether they're black or white or whatever their sexual orientation is.
And we don't make that stipulation about any other, subgroup. I just don't understand why we would have to focus on that. You're right. We need bright, brave men and women to fight for this country. Why are we even discussing sexuality?
Right. Well, hopefully, I think going forward, as this now takes place, I think of course, when you have 2 or 3 million employees, as the military does, depending on how you count them, there may be some incidents in which there are issues and problems, but I think the overwhelming majority of the people in the military are going to salute and say, yeah, we can make this happen, no problem.
All right, final question, and this one is for many of our members of our audience who are married, as you are, to someone who is of the opposite party.
Yes.
How do you manage? What's the discussion around the dinner table? I mean, as we go closer to 2012, how are you managing, Torie?
The discussion around the dinner table is the same as it is at many American dinner tables, which is who's taking the kid to soccer practice tomorrow. This one lost his cleats, so that's the big focus. That's the big focus in our family, not politics. You
have never had a heated debate in the Clarke home over politics?
Very, very rare.
Good for you.
We have a lot of respect for each other, and we can agree on some things and disagree on others.
As it should be. As it should be. Hey, it's a pleasure having you on, and enjoy seeing you on with George Stephanopoulos, even though I disagree with him most of the time.
Thanks, Matt.
It's always good to have you on with us as well. Torie Clarke, thank you for your time.
Take care.